Hey guys, so what do you get when you combine Blade Runner with the gritty New York City 1980s scene? Well, you get this game, Verdict Guilty. It's like a throwback 1990s, early 1990s fighting game where all the moves are pretty much, from what I saw, I tried each character, all the special moves aren't really that special. They're pretty much what you would expect to see in, pretty much in real life. I mean, they do add a bit of flourishes where the first character I played as, if I remember his name, it was like Sion. They all have Japanese names, so it makes it a little bit harder to remember their names. I think the big bad guy, his name is Sane, S-A-I-N, if I remember right. It's a pretty interesting game, actually. It's kind of like Street Fighter. I had people say that there were combos. It was possible to do combos in this fighting game, but I didn't really find a way. Like I guess you could probably match some of the moves up, like some punches and kicks. But what really makes this game unique is the setting, and the setting is the basis for the rest of the game. Like everything is really meshes well, very organic. All the characters, they're pretty unique, even though they have a lot of like punches and kicks. There's one guy who's sort of like a break dancer from what I could tell. I didn't read the backstory of all the characters, but he's pretty fast actually, and he has a lot of like flip moves and sort of flips into characters, and he's really fast. I was surprised. He reminded me of, what's the character from King of Fighters? The guy, I think he came into King of Fighters 2 or 3. Karate Master, I just can't think of his name. He reminded me of that character a lot. He was the only character that I didn't try and play as the female character. I think she's a detective, if I remember right. So that actually leads to the next part. There's sort of like different factions because it's a city. There's detectives. They're able to sort of like handcuff people, so instead of throwing them, handcuffing them seems to do a lot of damage, the same kind of damage, but it actually stops them from being able to do much other than just jump around. So it's a really cool game mechanic, and when you play story mode, some characters you have to handcuff, you can't hurt them otherwise, or you have to use the pistols, and that was the other neat thing. Your detectives can pull out the pistol and reload, while other characters don't have that ability. So other characters will like do a really aggressive throw move. If they're like usually a bad guy character, then they'll have that ability, while the good guy characters, detectives, have the handcuffs. Also, like the officers in the game, they also have access to wielding these guns, and they do a lot of damage. They actually seem to do more damage than the throws, but there's a downside as well to it, because it takes time to reload them, so you're actually really vulnerable as you reload, because someone can just come in and swoop in and I assume stop you from reloading the pistol. So I mean, it's interesting how they balanced it, and it seems like a fairly well balanced game. Also, the collisions seem to be spot on too from trying the different characters. Sometimes the enemies, the AI seems to be able to really, it doesn't feel like as cheap as say Killer Instinct, with the AI adapting from round to round, but it feels like some of the characters near the end, I played through the whole story mode with the first detective who carries a bottle with him. I think it was Sion, which was really interesting character design. There's also business guys. There's like a convict in an orange suit. So it's a really neat fighting game. The setting really determines how amazing and how interesting this game gets from other fighting games. And I could almost see it being played as a competitive fighting game. I think if they retooled it a bit more, maybe add more characters. From my side, there were only 8 characters, so yeah, it's definitely early 1990s style, fighting game. I didn't even see the characters' names as you choose the character. So I was like, oh, I'll just choose blankety blank and go from there. But special moves, they seem pretty easy to pull off. I was having problems with once they gave me the pistol in the story mode. I found it was a little bit difficult to pull off some of the moves, but I wasn't sure if it was just, you know, I'm not really into fighting games as much as I used to be perfectly honest, the Golden Age, Street Fighter 2 and then the other editions. But I found this game was really satisfying. I mean, I have to force myself, I find, to play through more modern fighting games because I find the story's not that interesting. This story, the fact that, you know, it's a city that seems to be corrupt, and the detective, basically going back to the detective, he's trying to avenge his girlfriend because he doesn't know who murdered her. And pretty much, I don't think it's a big spoiler, a big surprise, you know, he manages to find out who murdered his girlfriend. So the fact that they have the motive and the dialogue's actually pretty good for an indie game. Yeah, it seems like a pretty fun game, even though I'm not big on fighting games anymore. It seems like a pretty fun fighting game, and it won't break your wallet either. I mean, it's maybe $3 to $8, I think, maybe $7. It's for the game mechanics that have been totally changed from a lot of fighting games. It's really interesting indeed to see that how it can change the game, like a fighting game entirely. I found it, to be honest, at first I thought Fantasy Strike would be more interesting than this, but I think having played through the story mode, I really think this game succeeded far better than Fantasy Strike. I know Fantasy Strike's not finished. This game's, as far as I can see, I don't think it's in early access as of this recording. But this game definitely feels like it's a game I can play over and over again. Fantasy Strike just seemed more of a novelty without, you know, like I know it's supposed to be a beginner's fighting game, but I found this game, if you wanted to show someone like, oh, what were games kind of like back before they added super moves, super bars and all that, then you could definitely look at this game and be like, hey, yeah, this game would be a good game for people to start that aren't really into fighting games, that don't want, you know, all the extra frills that came afterwards. The music was really good. Sounds, you know, I didn't really notice the sound so much. I think unless they're really unique, they seem pretty standard fare punches and stuff. The announcer was okay, I mean, not amazing, but yeah, overall this game is very impressive. I definitely recommend it. Of course, with fighting games, you really like them usually, you hate them. You don't usually hate them very often if you're between those extremes. So definitely have a look at it, watch the gameplay. I would definitely recommend pick this one up. It's one of the better fighting games, and it's very polished, and you know, it's unique. You know, the handcuffs, the pistols, and all that you don't usually see in fighting games, and action makes the game a bit more interesting. Especially when you, it's kind of funny because the enemies would sometimes like try and crouch, and you're trying to do the pistol firing motion, and suddenly you shoot them in the butt, and then that ends the round. But the pistols are very powerful in this game, for sure. There was also a security guard who seemed to, I thought they had a different way they couldn't do it, but he seemed to fire like a mini Hadouken, which was kind of weird as well. But no, the cutscenes, I wouldn't say they're memorable, but they are interesting. And I think that's what makes this game stand out from, you know, sort of games that came before, like Fighter's History, other 2D games. I wouldn't say it's as good as, say, like Samurai Showdown. I wouldn't say, you know, it's probably not a classic, but it definitely is a solid fighting game that you might be interested in checking out, for sure. So, anyways, guys, keep on gaming, and I'll see you later. Bye.